Let summer set your kids free. I have 5 ways to help your kids flourish this summer. Hey, summer is coming up. You have summer break. This is such a great time to really get to know your kids. And number one is break free from comparison. They don't need to be compared to anyone else. Find out who your kids are. What do they love to do? Let them know that they are safe being themselves. It's a great time to really connect with your kids in a new way. And number two is find ways to enjoy what they are, what they love. So this takes a little bit of a little trying. So all my kids are different. I have 5 kids, and each one had different strengths, different things that they enjoyed. And I wanted them to be able to spend time doing the things that they love to do. And it wasn't always easy to find. And so I would just watch them. I would have activities ready and I would see what they were drawn to. For example, one of my sons, he liked Legos and he would put them together and then he would want to set them on a shelf and he was done. But then my next son, he liked to put the Lego set together and then take it apart and then put it together and then take it apart and put it together. And I had a dad, he said, "Why does my son always want to take apart the Lego thing that we put it together?" Well, it's because they want to see how it works. And only some kids want to know how it works. Some kids don't. They'd rather go play ball or do something else. And that's okay. They're free to be themselves. And they need time just to think because kids don't even know who they are and they need to find out. So, simple things like laying in the grass and watching the clouds go by and talking to your kids about, hey, what do you see in the clouds? What's interesting to you? Let them laugh, let them wonder, let them dream. When you stop rushing around, then you can see their hearts again. And part of the rushing around is if they always have a device in their hand, then it's a lot of stimulation to have TV, iPads going, noise, just constant noise. They can't have time to just breathe and think. And those things are so important for developing who they are and what they believe. And number three is remind them that they belong, that they're part of a family. They're part of your family and they belong in your family. And your family is a family that believes in God. It gives them an identity of this is who I am, this is where we're from, this is who we are as a family. And it gives them so much strength and it grounds them. So I recommend this summer, spend some time just in great conversations with your kids in the quiet moments and plan conversations and find out about your family. So go visit your grandma and to have her tell stories about when she was young and what she's been through. And this can go either way. So we want to tell stories of our family, of who they are and be totally honest, but then we also want to look at the redemption story in the family. For example, um, my grandparents went through the depression and they all have different stories of how they came through and what their family did. One of them, they they had a farm, they had all they needed and they had a great time and they would just enjoy playing games together in the evenings and listening to the radio, and they have so many fun memories that as children, they barely even remember what a desperate time it was. They know, but their family sheltered them from that, which is really cool. And then another one of my relatives, he was a really, really hard worker and he was willing to work even for little. And he he excelled during a difficult time and came out of the depression prosperous. And that's an awesome story for families to know about their grandparents and how they what they did to get through difficult times. It gives children hope that if they're facing a difficult time, then there's ways that they can get through it. So, and if you don't have grandparents around, call them. If you can't even call them, then adopt some grandparents. Every time we lived somewhere, we had an older couple that lived nearby that were friendly and they talked to our kids and they treated us like their kids, kind of, where we could tell stories and just enjoy hanging out for short times. So if you even have older people around to talk to, just ask them questions about their life and where they came from. And uh, your kids, find out what do they love, what excites them, and give them space to explore that. It's a freedom to pursue with joy their God-given gifts. So I would suggest praying about this. What's God's view for your kids? And I was talking to a dad at church last week, and he was thinking, my daughter could do this and my daughter could do that. And then he says, well, here I am planning my daughter's whole life. And we thought, you know what? God has a plan. God has a plan for your child, and your child is fully equipped to walk through all the doors that God has for them. And you, as a parent, can encourage them to be who God made them to be and to follow that path. Um, and I would suggest plan ahead for having restful days. So shalom means to dispel the chaos and receive peace. So, shalom in your home means to turn off the noise and have peace in your home. And you can plan a peaceful time in your house. So, structure is very important because it helps kids know what's coming next. But if you have too much structure, then it feels like they're being confined. And if they don't have any structure, then it's a little bit too much wandering or wasted time. And this time that you have in the summer with your child is a sacred time for you to be with them, because you may only have 18 summers before they're off to college or off on a missions trip or whatever the future God has for them. And so it's so worth it to invest in your kids, to spend time with them, finding out who they are, growing the family the bond, and growing their bond with God. And those are moments that will last into eternity. So if this resonates with you, then share it with a mom who's excited about having her kids at home this summer, or if you're a grandparent and you're going to be watching your kids for the summer, what a blessing it is to spend that time with the next generation. So share this with someone you know and like it. And the first week in June, I'm going to be doing a boot camp in teaching kids how to listen. So if you have kids at home, even if they're just home in the evenings and the weekends, there's so much peace in your home when you train your kids to listen, and it's easier than you think. So this will be taking place in my Facebook group community, Kingdom Joy at Home, Faith and Family Community. So let me know, and I will be sure to add you. And I hope this is helpful.